Hello guys and welcome back. So today I'm going to continue studying my stuff. I'm going to continue studying. When we play, we open up on UTG and the guy on the button calls us. And yesterday I had a fantastic session and there were a couple of hands that I didn't quite know how to play. So I really want to investigate these hands and understand better how to play on such boards. So let's take a look at these hands. The first one, like this board, Queen Ace 4. I think this one, nothing is special here. This hand, we had a lot of hands like these that I studied before in the previous videos with two high cards and one low card. So there is nothing special here, I think. Yeah, I don't quite want to study this one. At the same time, the next one, 6 to 7 board. I think this one is very interesting. So let's jump right into this one. I'm going to open up on the UTG with King 10 suited, and I will pretend as if the guy on the button called me. I told you many times what is the logic behind this, because I really want to study like this particular board, what I do when I play versus the button guy. Okay, I'm going to ignore that possibly other players called me here, okay? So as you can see, this guy called me and this guy, but I'm not going to think even about this because I study purely this board here and imagine that I play versus this button guy, okay? So let's see, let's jump right into this hand and let's start with the opening range. As you remember, my opening range is precisely 14.1%, okay? I'm going to open up Ace-10 offsuit, 35%, I open up 6-6 plus, King-Queen offsuit, I open up the Broadway hands, I open up Ace-9 suited, King-9 suited, Jack-9 suited, 10-9 suited, these guys, Ace-5, Ace-4, Ace-3, 50% of Ace-2, Queen-9, and I'm going to open up 25% of these suited connectors here. Okay, take 5-5, 25%, and these guys 15%. Very good, so this is my number of hands that I'm going to open up, 187.4, perfect. Okay, good. Let me put it up here. Very good, now let's see, the flop is a little bit complicated, right? 6, 7, 2, right? Was it 2 there? Yes, 6, 7, 2. Okay, good. 6 of hearts, 7 of hearts, 2 of clubs. Now let's see what we are going to do here. I think this board is very interesting because on the one hand, our opponent will hit this flop very well. Why is that? Because our opponent, if he's going to call on the button, right, we can just very quickly check what this opponent calls on the button, right? The opponent will definitely call like 2-2, 3-3, 4-4, not definitely, but a lot of opponents will call that. 5-5, 6-6, 6-5, 5-4, right? Maybe, well, 3-4 a little bit too wide, but maybe 6-4, yeah, like this. So look here, our opponent is going to hit heavily this this board, right, this flop. He will have a lot of pairs, right? He will have two pairs, 7-6 suited. He will have sets of 2-2, right, with 2-2, sets with 6s, sets with 7s. So our opponent will have so many things that he really, you know, will have here, and he will feel pretty comfortable playing in position with these hands. Okay, now, what about us? We kind of know what the opponent is going to call with, and he will hit this board very well. But at the same time, we do hit this board too, right? We are going to have 6s, 7s. We are going to have this pair of 6-7 suited. Only one pair, right? But still, we will have it. Okay, good. We will have a lot of over pairs, 8s plus, right? 8s, 9s, 10s, jacks. They're going to dominate our opponent's one pairs, right? So we're going to be good here as well. At the same time, we have a lot of draw flushes here as well that we are going to be good with. Okay, good. Now, so for me, the main question on this board is, if I still decide to bet first, what am I going to bet? right? How am I going to what am I going to bet for value? What is going to be my bluff bets? Yeah, so these are the questions that are going to kind of that I'm going to ask here. I think if you take a look at the solver, I haven't checked yet, but I'm pretty sure if you take a look at the solver will say something like, oh, here you have to defend, right? Here you have to check and most of the time and then play according to to the opponent's reaction, like how the opponent will react here. Will they bet? What will they do? But as for me, I still think because a lot of opponents, they are quite passive, right? So they don't attack you enough, especially on low limits where I play, right? NL10, NL25. So it might be a very good strategy for me to build up the pot, to start being aggressive, to go on, to control the pot, right? So I'm going, I think, to still bet here. Now, so for me, what am I going to bet? So I will first take a look at my super great hands, sixes, sevens, seven, six. Okay, good. What else? I think I will be betting something higher than these sevens, right? So eights, nines, tens. I think. Okay, so these combinations, you see, they are very vulnerable versus our opponent's check back, for example, or versus our opponent's bet. Yeah, our opponent can catch his jacks, queens, kings, aces on this board. So these hands are pretty vulnerable. I want to bet them. Plus, there is one more reason to bet them. If we bet them, we are going to charge our opponent's sevens and sixes, right? As you remember, we discussed in the very beginning. Our opponent will have a lot of pairs here, right? He strikes very well this board, hits it very well. So I'm going to bet these hands. I think why not? So far I have approximately this number of value bets. I will think about check raises later. Maybe do I have even the check raising range here or not? Oh, forgot to. Yeah, or I don't have. So I will think about this later, okay? So far my value bets are going to be like this. Now the question is, am I going to find enough value bets here? As you remember, before we discussed and we had such boards where we made the discovery that on these boards it is really hard to find the right ratio of bluffs, right? So if we imagine that we play according to the book and we have to have approximately two bluffs for every strong hand, so our bluffs should have approximately 50. I don't think that we will be able to find such a huge amount of bluffs. Okay, well, first of all, let's try to take a look like what am I going to bluff here? What are really good candidates for this? I think 9-8, of course, 9-8 suited, right? Because we have thus draw straight here. Draw straight with these 5-4, okay? I think we're going to bluff these 5-4-3 because we are potentially catching here some gut shots and draw straights, right, on the turn. So I'm going to bluff them too. You see, because they're in between, especially these fives, they're so good. 5, 6, 7. We need an 8 or a 4, and then we will be good here. Okay, and we can continue betting more on the turn, right? Okay, I think all these 10-9 suited will go because we just need to strike an 8 and we will have the best straight, right, on this board. Okay, this is good. Now, I think I'm going to bluff all of my ace-5 suited. The reason is just the same. We need to catch a 4 or an 8 and thus we will be really good on this board. Okay, I think this is good. Plus, I'm going to bluff all my ace-2. This lowest pair is really good usually to kind of like make our opponent fold, or if the opponent has anything, we can catch one more 2, or we can catch an ace, we will have 2 pairs. So this one is really good. I really like to usually kind of bluff bet, you know, this third pair. I think because this is definitely not a value bet. I mean, like, it depends from what point of view you look at it, right? If our opponent has nothing, then it is a value bet. If our opponent has something, we can improve, right? Okay, this is good. Now, I'm going, I think, to bluff all my nines. Well, I mean, like, not all my nines, but clubs and hearts. Nines of clubs and nines of hearts, I think, are really good bluffs here. You see, we need to catch an 8, and we will be good. We can continue pushing or defending. We can catch a pair of jacks, pair of queens, pair of kings, pair of aces. Great. We can catch a draw flush, right? And you see, I go into 2 draw flushes. One is draw flush with hearts, 1 draw flushes with clubs. So I think this is a really nice situation where I have... Oh, I'm sorry, guys. As usual, morning. Yeah, so I'm going to bluff with these guys. I think I will bluff ace 4, ace 3. The same, like hearts and clubs. Because you see, we have draw flushes here and the runner flushes. Plus, we can potentially improve to gut shots, and we can potentially improve to straight draws. So these are really good hands to bet. As for ace 4 suited, ace 4 of diamonds, as ace 4 of spades, I think I'm going to drop these. They don't have much potential, right? They don't have any draw flush potential. Plus they have very low, you see, draw straight potential. So that's why I choose just 2 colors here and pick up with me. Okay, wow, take a look at that. Already we have 25.2 and here 25.8. I think this 8-7 we can bet or we can call this one. And the reason for that is because our opponent will have some stronger 7s here, right? The opponent will have 9-7, 10-7, ace-7, ace-6 as well. But at the same time, I feel like we can bet here because we are near draw straights as well, right? We have 6, 7, 8. So we potentially can catch a 9. We can continue pushing. We can catch 5. And we can continue pushing, or we can check call, right? So these are still good hands. I think we can kind of bet them and we can check them sometimes. And I think, you know, like, it is hard to say whether it is a value bet or a bluff bet. You know, it is in between somewhere here. Maybe that's why actually it is a good reason to check call these guys. Maybe I will put it into my check calling range. I don't know. I want to think about this hand. So so far maybe I will put it in my check calling range. Maybe I can bet 8-7 of clubs, right? So that we can potentially have our draw flush there. Quite possibly. 6-5. I think this 6-5 the same. We can bet this 6-5 or we can check call. If I bet, to be honest, I think then my check calling range becomes quite weak in some terms. So I wouldn't want to just, you know, all the time bet these hands. I want to have something in my check calling range. So as you can see, guys, our value bets are going to be 25.2. Our bluff bets are going to be 25.8, right? So that is approximately the number that I always somehow get on these boards where I have these where I have these draw flushes and kind of draw straight heavy boards. Okay, now this is good. Let's see, what are we going to defend so far? If we have here, so grouped 51 and ungrouped 128.7, that's a lot, right? Let's try this to input this now, 128.7. So let's imagine the opponent hits this board, right? The opponent might bet 75%, might bet 33%, might bet 50%. I just imagine, in order to make it all just simpler for me, I will imagine that the opponent bets 50%. I have to defend 67% of my check-in range. Okay, multiply 0.67. Okay, this is the number of hands that I have to defend here. Now let's see, will we have enough in our defense or not? Okay, aces, kings, queens, jacks. So they're strong. At the same time, they might already lose here because the opponent might have a set here, right? Okay, what else? 8-7, 6-5. Okay, good. So far 25. I think I will call my top range guys ace king, all of them. As for ace queen, ace jack, ace 10, king queen, I think I would prefer. So what do we need here? Either to be closer to the 7-6, which is hard with ace 10 even, or we want to be closer to these flushes, right? To these draw flushes with hearts. So I will pick up my hearts here, and I will be calling with all my hearts. With all my heart. I'm gonna call with all my heart. Okay, good. Now, let's see. So far we have, wow, this is a very good number already, 57.6. And I think we can add up our super powerful draw flushes plus our Broadway clubs flushes, runner flush, right? Let's try like this. Okay, I think this is good. So look, the thing is, we have draw flushes potentially, especially these low ones like Jack 10, we can actually, on the one hand, we can bluff them. But on the other hand, you see we can catch the second pair here. I mean like the top pair, right? We can catch a Jack or a 10 on the turn, and we are really good to check call one more time. I mean, they are really good in terms of check calling here. You know, I can, I think, put some of these draw flushes in my betting range. I think totally fine, especially low ones. You know, like Jack 10, Queen 10, Queen Jack, King 10, Queen Jack. I think they're fine with bluff betting. At the same time, I think they're fine with check calling as well. And look, I have some very strong draw flushes that I'm going to check call with. I'm pretty happy with check calling them because like on this board, if the opponent has a set, I already lost. And that's why like for me defending is really good here. I can defend and catch my flush and dominate, right? And at the same time, the opponent might have a lower draw flush. So this is good to know this and keep it in mind. Make him aggressive, put a trap. Yeah, and so I think they're really good in terms of defending. Plus we can catch a pair there, an ace or a jack. If I want to bluff, I think I would take these guys to bluff. Queen Jack, Queen 10, Jack 10, I think King 10, right? And I think not only hearts, but also possibly those clubs, right? I think they're really good to kind of possibly bluff here. Yeah, so maybe these guys. Yeah, I don't, because the reason for that is I don't quite want to bluff these hands. I mean to call with these hands versus a 50% bet. Maybe their call is not that good versus a 50% bet, right? And maybe I have to fold down. So I don't know according to solvers how it should be. Maybe if we have time we will check with the solvers later. But so far, maybe I check call, maybe I bluff bet these guys. Yeah. So look, let's take a look. So far we have this number of hands that we're going to defend, 77.6. I think this is a very close number. We just missed 9 combinations. But overall, I think we are really, really good. These 9 combinations, what can we add up possibly here? Some of these 9s don't want. I have perfect 9s here. Some of these 4 don't want to defend with these. Okay, maybe ace queen, more like calls with ace queen. Maybe. So maybe this is exactly the number of combinations that I need to call here, right? So maybe we should just be really careful if there is a heart on the board, right? We should be very passive. Maybe we should overfold if we catch a queen, right? Queen of hearts, and we strike this queen. So I don't know, we should be very, very careful, okay? But so far we needed to call a little bit more, so maybe these queens, if you want, you can call. If you want, you can overfold a little bit, and that's fine. That's fine if you have only 50% of these ace queen offsuit, right? Because you are balanced near flushes here. So if our opponent can overbluff a little bit, he will be overbluffing and taking a very little advantage, over you, but not that much. Yeah, I think so. So wow, so far take a look at this. Out of 179.7 hands, we played 128, right? Out of them, we had value bets 25, bluff bets 25, and check calls 77.6. So the only thing is, like I tell you, sometimes I think I will be mixing these guys between bluff bets and check calls, I think. So I will maybe do these like 50% of them. I'm gonna check call. Oh, wait a second. I need to choose here hearts and clubs. Okay, like these guys. I'm going to check call, I think, some of them. And I think I'm going to bluff bet 50% of them. Okay, now that's good. Okay, now look, that's really good, I think. Now I have a little bit slightly, what is this? So this is the amount of my value bets, right? A little bit more of my bluff bets here, 30. And for this board, I think this is totally fine. And I'm going to check call 72. Yeah, check call a little bit less than intended. But that's totally fine. I'm totally fine with that. Yeah. Well, I think so far with this hand is gonna be like this. A very interesting board. I love it. This board, I think, very interesting to play here. Yeah, as you can see, I think I don't quite have my check raise in range. If I want to check raise, possibly I would combine my check raise between these guys, like 7-7, the sets of sevens. I think if I want to check raise, I would put this one into my check raise in range. And I think I would balance it with 8-7, with 8-7 suited here. So though we still don't have enough check raises, right? So I think, but I think this is quite possible, right? We are around draw straights here, and we block a lot of our opponent's sevens in this way, right? So I think this is good. And we can catch a 9, continue pushing or check calling. We can catch another 7, right? We can catch an 8. We will have 2 pairs, and we will have to defend, by the way, check call. Yeah, so I think it's gonna be like this if I want to bluff bet. What else can I add up into my bluff bets, into my bluff betting range? I suppose it can be these guys, 6-5, especially 6-5 of clubs. I think is a really good bluff check raise for the second pair, but still it is draw flush. Yeah, like this, I think it can be a very good check raise. Plus I can add up potentially always some of these guys. Ace-4, Ace-3 and Ace-5, especially Ace-5 with hearts and clubs. Yeah, I think these guys play really well in terms of check raising. So if I want to add up like check raises, I think I will do it like this. Like this. And maybe like this. Oh. Cannot have 50%. Need to decrease maybe like this. Okay, yeah, so it's gonna be like these guys, you see. I think it's gonna be like this. Yeah, so 6.5 here, 1.5, and well, a little bit over bluffed here, but this fine, I think, so far, because we have a pair of 7s here, a pair of 6s, but still, you have to combine, I think, your perfect bluffs between, like, you know, you can strike something really good right here, right now. Yeah, something like this. But I think, you know, on this particular board, that's totally fine if I don't have any bluff check raises here. I'm fine with that as well. I think sometimes I can play bluff check raise with the value check raises, right? Yeah. Yeah, so that's it. That's it about this hand. By the way, you see, actually not bad to have check raises because I balanced this. I have now a smaller amount of my value bets, and I have a little bit more bluffs, so this is kind of good. And I have check raises here as well, and I defend a little bit more in these terms, 71.6 plus 6.5. Yeah, so around like 78. Still miss some cards in my defense, but that's all right. Yeah, so guys, so far this is gonna be it for this particular hand. I love this flop, very interesting to play. I'm sure the solver would say like, oh, defend and play out of defense. But this is not quite my style. I really like to build up the pot. I really like to think here and play accordingly. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.